This is Double J Jeff Jarrett, and you can catch me right here on Sportskeeda.
How are you doing, man? And the last time when you came to Bombay, Bruce Pritchard was part of the tour. He was the big podcasting star, and now you are. So, how did this whole idea come about?
It's interesting times, yeah, Riju. Very well, and really excited about the launch. I'll say that I'm sort of on the media tour, the PR tour for the launch. We launched May 4th. Every Tuesday, starting May 4th, we're going to be dropping the podcast. But, Conrad, I'll say that he's stayed on me for the last couple of years, and I obviously met him through Bruce, and me and Bruce go back, 30 years. But Bruce had actually mentioned it to me a couple of times, and I just have never really had interest in, I'll say, retelling stories or going back and looking in the rearview mirror. I think from a business perspective, you absolutely can learn from the past. But you're truly really only as good as your last idea, your last match, or whatever it is, especially in the entertainment business. So I've never really had a lot of interest at it, but seeing the business model that Conrad and all of his co-hosts have built, and just the way the world consumes their entertainment on demand, and podcasts is just another form of on-demand entertainment. I'm really excited about the launch. Again, some really blue chip sponsors surrounding it. Our distribution partner in Cumulus, that they are such a strong broadcast partner. And then, everywhere you can subscribe to a podcast, we're on. And again, I'm excited about it. Just earlier this month, I celebrated my 35th year in the industry, which is kind of amazing in and of itself to me. It seems like just yesterday, I was the kid in the dressing room. So now, just a few years later, so to speak, I look back on it. But from my first matches in Memphis, all the way to stepping on the stage in New Orleans for Hall of Fame, and then some, I'm excited about getting down to it. And a lot has been talked about many times about my career. Some true, some not true, some accurate, some half accurate. But I'm excited to dig into it and really discuss my career.
So, one of the things that a lot of people were surprised by was seeing you in the Royal Rumble match. How did that whole thing come about, man? And what was it like working with Elias?
Oh no, it's the timing was right. In 2018, inducted into the Hall of Fame, which was really cool. And then the following year at Phoenix and the Royal Rumble, people just weren't expecting it, and it was really interesting. Just the timing and Elias's character. He's got a cool vibe about him. I've said it many times on record that he can go as far as he wants. He's got to take the bull by the horns and just keep on keeping on. He's really got a lot of talent in and outside the ring. He's a natural showman. But that was a real cool moment at Royal Rumble, and the following night on Raw, and I can remember somebody coming up to me, says, "Yeah, it's something to the effect you set a record." It's been almost 20 years between Raw appearances, so that really wasn't clicking in my head till that night. But it was a good time.
Fantastic, man. Congratulations on 35 years in the business. Congratulations on the Hall of Fame induction, like you said. I also wanted to touch on the fact that you are one of the greatest bookers of the modern era. And I mean, you presented Samoa Joe as one of the best stars in the business. Do you think WWE never understood him in the same manner that you had?
And I've said this so many times, you can call it being a booker, creative, writing, whatever it may be. If it's going well, the talent gets the credit. If it's not going well, the booker, the writer, the creative team gets the credit. But in reality, it's and me being from Music City and Nashville, and I always draw this analogy. It's like, what makes a number one hit? Is it the song and how it's written, or the singer? So is it the song or the singer? When in reality, it's both.
Right.
And so, we had a real opportunity with Joe when he came in. Obviously, Kurt was there, and at the very top, he was the lead horse, so to speak. Joe came in prior to that, and just the timing was just built with Joe and the undefeated streak, and those two, and it really made things crystallize. But I can remember, and I've said this story as well, that me and Mick Foley had a breakfast up in Long Island over. I don't even know why we were meeting, but he was one of the first guys. I had a lot of guys, even AJ, Mitch and Joe to me. I've always been a huge fan of Samoa Joe. But, as time moves on, different circumstances. I know Joe had injuries, and, timing's everything in this business. You can have an injury, or actually, if you're in a program or storyline and your opponent is to have an injury and goes down, so many factors can go into it. But, Joe is a main event caliber talent, and I'm sure wherever his feet land, he's going to be successful again. He was, people are there's that narrative, missed opportunity, so to speak. I really think that Joe, every opportunity that he got, he really sees. And again, it's timing is everything in this industry in so many ways.
Fantastic, man. It's funny that I'm talking to you today because I mean, earlier in the day for us in India, last night for you guys, I mean, there is a new Impact champion, and he's not part of the Impact roster, Kenny Omega. What are your thoughts on this?
Oh, I think it's fantastic. It is no secret that I have always been a fan of cross promotions. I mean, if you really think about from the very earliest days of even TNA, we had AAA involved, the number one promotion in Mexico. So I've always been a big believer of we'll call it interpromotional stories and talent. And, you can talk about through my time at TNA, and then bringing up different talent just from all over the globe. So I think it's great for the industry. Kenny's obviously an incredible talent, but I think it's just healthy for the industry. And you see Chris Jericho going back and doing a Broken Skull session with Stone Cold Steve Austin. I think with the environment that entertainment is, with streaming first now, that's and I said earlier, that's where the podcast is at. It's without saying, it's on-demand entertainment. So again, I think interpromotional talent exchanges, storyline, whatever it may be, I think it's very, very healthy for the business, and I have always believed that.
Fantastic, man. So it's been well documented that when you left WWE in the 90s, it wasn't on the best of terms. When you came back, what was Vince McMahon's reaction to seeing you back?
Well, it goes without saying, when we get into My World, the podcast, we're going to get into all those stories in detail. And Conrad cannot wait. He's talking different topics. He's gone online to Twitter and Instagram and soliciting from the fans what topics to dive into. It's exciting, but it's very unique to hear the different narratives that go out. But coming back and being inducted to the Hall of Fame was pretty much answered a few questions that were out there. But again, Vince is a third generation promoter. I'm a third generation promoter. It's in our blood. We've done it for a long time. And so business is business. And you can have a personal relationship, which we have, but you can also, when you're running a business, you got to do what's best for business. And that's just, a lot of people sometimes lose sight of that this is all about a business. You don't have to go home and eat dinner with the folks. You got to do what's business for your business, and that's really what makes this industry so successful.
Fantastic, man. And speaking of the podcasting world, Did you think that Jim Cornette would be such a big star in the podcasting world in 2021?
I've known Jim since I was 10, 11, 12 years old. He broke into the business. My grandmother was instrumental. My father was instrumental. He was a photographer, like all of us. Before he was a photographer, he was a wrestling fan. Before I ever put on the boots, I was a wrestling fan. Jim has an incredible gift of gab. I'll say this: he knows how to sell tickets. It's first and foremost in the mentality, and I think sometimes in this day and age of not a lot of barometers, so to speak, whether it's ticket sales or buy rates, even minute by minute ratings have somewhat, and I know they're not what they used to be, but at the end of the day, Jim's a businessman, and he's looking for downloads like everyone in the world. I often would tell Conrad in my past, Conrad, I don't want to hear myself talk. I'm not really interested in telling stories. But when the business component crystallized and seeing the different opportunities, and I'm talking to a couple of different other media companies about potentially other podcasts. So I'm really excited, with the world and you're in Mumbai right now, right?
Right.
Who would have ever thought me and you would be having a discussion about a podcast on my 35-year career, even 3 or 4 or 5 years ago? I mean, but it's a reality. Your country, and I've said it first, and I've said it over and over and over. It is the biggest opportunity, in my opinion, in 2021 and moving forward. Your economy, your culture with Bollywood meets sport. I think it's the best opportunity, literally, in the industry right now, is to develop business in India. I'm excited about that. But it's back to circling to your question. Jim Cornette knows how to generate discussion around his podcast, and isn't that the name of the game?
It is. It certainly is. And I respectfully disagree. I think you have the best stories to share. I am going to tune in every single week. I believe we have time for one more question. So this is something everyone is talking about. Something that broke on the internet is the story of somebody you worked with closely, Mickey James, and the fact that she was handed her belongings in a garbage bag. I'm sure you have booked her, over the years. So what did you think of this whole incident?
Mickey was called Alexis Lurie
Yes.
in early TNA. So obviously I've known Mickey her entire career. Incredible talent. That story broke, and without knowing all the details, it took, in my opinion, how the bag got there. Yes, the cosmetically, it didn't probably sit well with a lot of folks, but also know that there's a lot of discussion in the world we live in with social media and clicks. I get it. I completely understand it. But without look, there's a lot of things that aren't always what they truly what it appears to be. So I don't know who shipped it, how it was shipped, what was in that bag, what was in the contents of that bag. There's so many questions. What if? But I know one thing: it made great headlines last week and a lot of discussion. But at the end of the day, I don't think either side, and I'll call it sides. Look, Mickey's future Hall of Famer without question. But it was a unique situation, difficult on both sides. But I think it's water under the bridge at this point.
Fantastic, man. And just to conclude the interview, do you have a message for your fans in India? You mentioned them. Any message for your fans?
I've said it. It goes without saying my affinity and affection and love and of the people of India. I truly think that India is the next frontier, and I hope to see you guys soon. I'll just say that.
Fantastic. Looking forward to seeing you here. And it was an honor speaking to you. I'm going to tune into the podcast every week.